Hi, I'm Casey, your business buddy. In today's session of Start Small, Grow Big, we will be looking at the question, is your idea viable? Every now and then, small business owners would engage me in conversations, and this particular question would always pop up. Whether they're applying for a grant, or they're in a normal conversation, or they have certain dealings, and this question comes up: is your idea viable? And so I'm posing the same question to you today. Is your idea viable? How do I know if my idea is viable? If your idea is not viable, how can the business become viable? Remember, your idea is the seed form for your business. So let's pass your idea through certain questions to know if it's viable. So this idea of yours, who is it serving? Does it meet a need? Is there a problem? Is there a want? Is there a need that it speaks to? If there are particular people that you have found that this idea is applicable to and would be a solution to, then that is a viable idea. The second thing to look at is, how large is the market? How large are the group of people demanding for this product? How many are they? Are they worth the while? Would you experience what we call a good rapidity of turnover? Would you have enough people requesting for these goods? The bigger the size of the market you're serving, the more money you're likely to make. Someone may argue with me there to say, what about those who are selling to a very large market at a very minute price? Then again, when you look at that particular business model, which speaks to rapidity of turnover, you would also know that they are hugely successful. So what's the use case? You have a particular product that serves a large number of people with very small margins. They still have a lot of money there. They still make a lot of money there. You have another business that is pegged at probably a very high price, but serves a smaller group of people. Yeah. So many times in these two scenarios, the costs may just be the difference. How well are they able to manage their cost? How well are they able to optimize their cost? How well are they able to ensure that they have a seamless flow of their process to ensure that turnaround time is as short as possible, while they are able to duplicate their products, their services for the number of people that they are serving. Number 3 would be, what is the purchasing power of this number of people? You can have 1 million people with a very low purchasing power, and you can have 100 people who have a very high purchasing power. It becomes then your call to say, I'd like to serve this particular mass or this other particular group of people. So what is the purchasing power of your customers? Remember that there is a session where we have treated your customers, having your customers profiled to enable you know if you have the right target audience. Many years ago, I started off a business. I ran that business and I never knew what my frustration was. I knew I kept being frustrated at what it was I was doing, till I realized one day that we were pitching to the very wrong people. We hadn't done our market segmentation well. The target audience wasn't exactly who we wanted to reach. Of course, the people we were reaching needed our product. They needed our services. But like you would always hear me say, it's not enough for someone to need your product, to want your product. It's enough if that person also has the capacity to purchase. That makes all the difference. And the truth is, it's a lot of difference. Why? If the purchasing power is not there, then there's no business. You're not in business. You should be able to sell. The very essence of being in business is to have a product that you can sell, make money, and say you're profitable. Of course, profitability is another word that can be used for viability. When you have ascertained if they have the purchasing power, Another thing you need to look at, another critical point you need to look at is it costly to produce? Anytime you talk viability, don't just think revenue, also think cost. So at any point in time when you want to grow your profit, it's either you're growing your revenue or you're ensuring that you're making your costs go down. I think we need to pause there. Talking about getting your costs to go down, I always sound a note of warning. Make sure you're not sacrificing excellence on the altar of mediocrity just because you want to cut costs. So rather than say reduce costs, I would say optimize your cost. Ensure that your costs are optimized. Spend the money at the right time when you need to spend that money. Because more often than not, you need money to get money. I know many of you are going to agree with me here. So is it costly to produce? Because if you're talking viability, if you're talking business growth, you will talk revenue pari passu growth. You're going to talk about your revenue and you're also going to talk about your growth. Great is that business that is able to drive high levels of revenue and optimize their cost to a very reasonable degree. So a business can even have great sales. A business can even have a very high revenue. If your cost is too high, then you may need to look at it again. You may not necessarily say that business is viable. So let's look at these two scenarios. If I sit as an investor over your business, or I sit as a stakeholder, or I'm trying to come into that business as an investor, and there are two businesses. Business one makes ₦1 million in revenue, and cost is pegged at about 900,000. And I have business B, who makes the same ₦1 million as revenue, and cost sits at 240,000 naira. Of course, I would go for the business whose cost is lower. That business would be said to be a very viable business. I believe that with that simple scenario, you've got the point. Is it costly to produce? If it is costly to produce, it may not be such a viable idea. The next thing you may need to look at is, can the price be flexible? Another way to put this question is it a business that can be adaptable? Is it a business that can be dynamic in nature? Is it a business, is it an idea that you can break down the components of its solution? What do I mean by that? Your idea may be such that it has a holistic solution. However, when the prices are not so good, for example, the cost of production at a particular time may get so high because of the materials or the input. Is it an idea? Is it a solution that you can decompose? Can you break down that solution into different parts such that you're able to sell the different components and you're able to make enough, much more than if you had sold it as a whole? This is a very fantastic feature for an idea or a solution to have. So you may need to look at that idea again and look through some of the questions that I have asked. If you tick the right boxes to these answers, then you can say that idea is viable, and you can boldly put that out there, probably in your value proposition as you pitch to investors, as you write for that grant, or as you seek the funds you need, or even as you speak to the stakeholders or your board of directors, as the case may be. I want to believe that I have done justice to this. I want to believe that you got a thing or two. You can send in your feedback, drop your questions in the comment section. I'll look through and give answers to them. You can also send us your feedback. We'll be glad to have them. Till the next session, it's Casey, your business buddy. Thanks for watching.